welcome back, everybody, to a new year of Keep It on the DL. I'm Louis Angelo. Alongside with me, as always, is Dev, and we have a jam-packed New Year's show to do today. We got hit with breaking news in the morning about the Mets. Then we have to get into our Jets and Giants season recaps. The Eagles tank job. We got NFL playoffs, college football playoffs, as well as the Heisman winner, World Junior Classic for hockey, and you got to round it off with the best basketball team in New York, and that'd be the Knicks. So, Dev, let's start with the Mets. Woke up today. I woke up probably a minute before that happened. Like a minute before. Like I opened up my eyes, I looked at my phone, and there was the notification said 1 M ago, and I'm like, wow. I just woke up in the nick of time. So now you know what time I woke up, but also huge
12:15 in the afternoon.
Huge trade for the Mets. I mean, I'm not going to be a bitter Yankee fan about it. This was an extraordinary move by the Mets. I don't know how they pulled it off. They gave up four players for Francisco Lindor and Carrasco. I don't know how they did it. They got it done. A huge steal by the Mets. The Indians, I have no idea what you're doing. That was terrible. That was a terrible trade by the Indians. But the Mets really lucked out. They get a guy that's going to round out that rotation. I mean, you already have DeGrom, Syndergaard, and Stroman at the top, and now you're going to add Carrasco as a potential 4-5 starter. I mean, that rotation's fantastic, and then you're going to add a middle-of-the-lineup hitter in Francisco Lindor, a switch hitter nonetheless, great fielding shortstop, probably top 3 shortstop in the game, hands down, to that lineup. And, you know, the Mets go out and can get George Springer, too. You're looking at Springer, Lindor, Alonso at 1, 2, 3 in your order here. So the Mets have a lot of things to look forward to. What a trade to wake up to, man.
Yeah, nothing but good things to say about this from a Mets standpoint for sure. I mean, when everybody was talking about Steve Cohen and having him buy the team and getting rid of the Wilpons, this is what Met fans envisioned. This is what they kept talking about. These were fun fantasies for Met fans to think about. And, I mean, we've talked about this, Lou. I love everything Steve Cohen has done thus far. I think he is a poster child or poster man, I guess you should say, but for how all owners should strive to be. You know, he has been very interactive with the fans. He said, I want to win. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this to bring a championship back to Queens. And he's been the owner, I believe, for 41 days, I think I saw today officially. And he's made, arguably, and Lou, correct me if I'm wrong, one of, if not the most monumental trade in Mets history, maybe besides the Piazza trade. You know, bringing in Francisco Lindor, like you said, all-star shortstop in his prime, top 3 shortstop in the league, one of the best young stars we have in Major League Baseball today, and he isn't kidding. He's trying to build a team to be as competitive as possible, and this is what the Mets needed. I could not promote this even more for Met fans. I don't think Met fans need any more reason to get excited about this because, I mean, this is a phenomenal deal from all aspects. And like you said, even getting Cookie in the trade. You know, Carlos Carrasco, a guy that's been a very formidable starter for a pretty long time, a guy that can still pitch at a top level. He's going to be a great middle to end of the rotation guy for the Mets here. They're going to be in the search for, I believe, a 5-starter by the time Matz and Carrasco end that 3-4 spot after
Matz,
DeGrom and Syndergaard,
that 5th spot can go to Matz. It can go to Lugo. It can go to Peterson. They have options for that 5th spot. And I don't think you go out and sign someone. You got to try to use one of your own assets.
Yeah, exactly. You got it, and the Mets have always been known to have a deep farm as far as the arms go. So yeah, I mean, the Mets. I mean, Man, I can't believe. I guess I can believe, but the fact that it actually happened and it's here, in addition to all the Lindor rumors we've been hearing for the past year or 2 years, whatever it may be. I mean, the fact that it actually happened and what the Mets gave up is phenomenal. And real quick, Lou, before
two
I
shortstops, one of them Ahmed Rosario, and an outfielder and a pitcher. So 4 people.
I'm not too familiar with the Mets farm, so I've been talking to a lot of Met fans throughout the day. A lot of Met fans were very high on Andres Jimenez, but that's what you had to give up to get up Lindor, and obviously every Met fan is going to say, yeah, okay.
Of course. I mean, look at Mets prospects. I mean, you have 2 Mets prospects that have turned out positive for the franchise. Well, 3 Mets prospects that have turned out positive over the last 10 years in Conforto, Alonso, and DeGrom. So their farm really doesn't develop. So for them to be, upset about losing a shortstop, I mean, come on. That guy probably was going to amount to nothing with the Mets.
Yeah. And real quick, Lou, I want to say, too, I mean, over the last 2 months, how much has the culture of the Mets changed? Already, in a matter of 2 months, in a matter of 8 weeks, new GM and Jared Porter, no more Brody. Obviously you get rid of the Wilpons, and you get Steve Cohen in. Boom, new culture already. Porter, his first major deal is a huge one, getting Lindor. The Mets are for real. These are not the old Mets anymore. That is for damn sure. Already.
Yeah, 100%. We'll see what the Mets can do. They obviously have expectations now. If you miss the playoffs, that's going to be pretty damn bad if the Mets miss the playoff this year. They need to get there. And also, will they sign Lindor after the season? Because he is a free agent. They have him for this year. But then, is he willing to come back to the Mets is the next question. Probably he will be. Because I think they got great pieces there. But I think that he'll end up signing with the Mets for the future, but that's one thing that the Mets need to do is if they they just got 1 year out of Lindor, and then this Jimenez kid turns into this stud for the Indians, you're kind of you're just gonna go ugh and shrug and just be kind of like, damn it, what was 1 year worth? I mean, if you get a World Series out of this year, then it's worth it. But getting Francisco Lindor long term should be the Mets' second priority to going out and getting George Springer for that lineup as well.
Yeah, I think that they're going to waste no time in locking up Lindor, too. You see that a lot with these deals, and these guys will, you're probably going to see Lindor sign a 10-year, possibly $250, $300 million contract right here. So
yeah,
I think that's going to happen within the next few weeks. That's my prediction. That's my feeling.
It could, and this should motivate the Yankees to get LeMahieu signed and do something and not become second-class team in New York because Yankees fans aren't used to that. So they need to do something to get the ball rolling in New York. But moving on. So Jets ended their season at 2-14, which led to the firing of Adam Gase. And Dev, I'm going to leave the rest to you. This, winning the last, 2 of 3 games the Jets did. I mean, they won the last 7 of 10, I think, last season.
Yep.
But moving on from Adam Gase, how do these Jets fans feel right now about the team right now going forward and with this number 2 pick?
So, I think it's a mixture, and a lot of Jet fans could relate to me. It's a mixture of relief and excitement because now the albatross that was Adam Gase is officially gone. He's out of New York. Thank the heavens, the day finally came, and right off the bat, the Jets have the number 2 pick, are in a fantastic, fantastic position as far as what to do with the number 2 pick, what to do with Sam Darnold. Do you possibly go out and trade for Deshaun Watson? Do you get Sewell from Oregon, who's supposed to be one of the greatest tackles to ever come out of college? Do you draft him with the number 2 pick and keep Darnold? Do you draft Justin Fields? So the Jets have a lot of options here. I'm very, very intrigued to see who they're going to hire. as the next head coach, as I've said on the show before, I really do have full faith in Joe Douglas. He's been interviewing a number of candidates already. I believe he's interviewed at least 4 or 5. And all the candidates, from what I've been hearing, are very, very highly touted throughout the league, respected guys. Hopefully they bring in Matt Campbell again. I would love to see him or Eric Bieniemy become the next head coach. But I trust Joe Douglas. Whoever he intends to bring in is going to have a tough decision when it comes to Sam Darnold and his future as a New York Jet.
Definitely. And
yeah.
Just to be clear, Mekhi Becton has been playing right tackle for the Jets?
He's been playing the blind side.
So he's been playing left tackle.
He's been playing left side.
He's been playing the left side. Okay.
So
I didn't know if he was playing right side because he's been a great left tackle for the Jets. Not too sure if you're just ready to move him out of that position just because Sewell's coming in and move Becton over to right tackle. But if Becton was playing right tackle all year, I mean, you can get him and Sewell and shore up lock down some edge rushers, facing a Steeler team that would have Alex Highsmith and T.J. Watt and Bud Dupree. Like, to have 2 studs like that on the ends of the line to lock down guys like that would be huge. But if Sewell were there, you'd probably have to move back in. You have to learn a new position and so on and so forth. I'm not too sure if they go after him. But I think they're doing something big at the quarterback position with this number 2 pick, whether that's trading the pick for Deshaun Watson, whether that's drafting a quarterback, or it may be trading away Sam Darnold as well, including with drafting the number 2 quarterback. Or they can even trade back. They could trade back just a little bit, maybe to a team like maybe the Falcons or the Lions, who are ready to move on from Lions Stafford in the next couple of years and want to jump another team to get a pick, to get a quarterback that they like.
Exactly.
Move back just a little bit and then draft maybe a Devontae Smith. Or the Jets fans feel they need a wide receiver. I thought Denzel Mims was pretty good. Maybe free agency is where you look for the wide receiver if you're the Jets, but they could definitely still get an impact player a little further down in the draft while picking up some extra picks.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm so pumped to see what they do because they're in a prime position. You just listed a bunch of, not theories, but you know what I'm trying to say, some hypotheticals, some different routes, really is the correct way of saying it. Different routes that the Jets could take. They have so many options. They really can't go wrong, in my opinion. They cannot go wrong. They cannot mess this up unless they hire Marvin Lewis, who unfortunately they did interview, but hopefully, obviously, they do not go that way. But
regular season Marvin Lewis.
Very excited. What?
Regular season Marvin Lewis.
Regular season Marvin Lewis. I don't know how long. I don't know why he lasted as long as he did in Cincinnati. That was the $1 million question.
He did last long in Cincinnati.
He did. But yeah, the Jets have a lot to be excited about. I would be over the moon, dude, if they somehow find a way to trade for Deshaun Watson, which I firmly believe is worth every single draft pick that they possibly have, figuratively. But they have a lot of draft capital. A lot of it's not even theirs, getting all those picks from the Seahawks. You package those picks even along with the number 2 pick to trade for Deshaun Watson, you get a Pro Bowl, not even caliber, Pro Bowl quarterback, established quarterback in his prime. Very similar to the Lindor trade, honestly, with the Mets, but in football terms. So I don't think it'll happen, but if it does happen, oh my God, man! And that'll rejuvenate this fan base. I'll tell you that much. Yep,
and the draft obviously in April, long ways away. I think they're still trying to do that Vegas thing, which looked awesome last year. Obviously postponed, but long ways away till the draft. Now moving on to the other team in New York, the Giants finish at 6-10. They got their much-needed win against the Cowboys in Week 17, but it was one win short of them falling short of the playoffs in Joe Judge's first year. But overall, as a Giants fan, you're happy to see some improvement throughout the year. I think you wanted to see them beat either the Ravens, Browns, and Cardinals, beat one of those teams again, but they were playing with an injured Daniel Jones. They were playing with Colt McCoy. It was tough to go out and win those games when your quarterback's not healthy. But they definitely saw improvement. Patrick Graham re-signing with the Giants, not taking any head coaching offers in 2021 is fantastic. He's going to be back, so expect this defense to keep improving and add a piece or two or get younger in the draft, even though they're one of the youngest defenses in the league. And Dave Gettleman also staying for the 2021 season. You can't just forget about 2018 and 2019, how horrible those years were, how dreadful the free agent signings were, how terrible the draft picks were. I mean, they got Barkley and Daniel Jones. That's all you really can remember if you're a Giants fan from that draft, those drafts. But maybe Dalvin Tomlinson as well. But last year in drafting, getting Andrew Thomas, who is still so young and has improved drastically as the year went on. That was a great pick. Lawrence was a good pick in 2019 as well. He did good with that. That was part of the Cleveland trade, though. But the Gettleman this is his last year, I think. This is his last, prove-it year, get us to the playoffs. I think it's really divisional round or he's gone. I mean, he's got to do something with this 11th pick in the draft, getting weapons for Daniel Jones, picking up another cornerback for that defense, and finding a way to keep Leonard Williams and Dalvin Tomlinson would be amazing to keep keep both of those guys in Tomlinson and Williams. That trade for the Jets now doesn't seem that bad though, Deb. That Leonard Williams trade, no. It definitely didn't. Williams completely improved. That guy's worth a first-round pick right now. The Giants got him for a third. So him on the roster with Tomlinson should be a big priority, and adding a wide receiver and a cornerback, and the edge rushers, one more edge rusher as well. Williams normally sometimes lines up in between the guards and doesn't really generate that outside edge rush like Shaq Barrett does for the Bucs and so on. So the Giants have their work cut out for them. I think they have a very clear goal on what they need, which is good. They're not kind of all over the place thinking, well, we can do this or this or this. I think at 11, if Smith, Chase, or Waddle's there, I think the Giants are grabbing them at 11. If not, I think they go defense. They'll get an edge rusher or a corner, and then come free agency. You got some big free agents: Chris Godwin, Kenny Golladay, Allen Robinson. 3 big-time free agents there. The Giants are going to need one of those if they can't draft a wide receiver at 11. So they'll have Barkley back next year. John Mara said, expect Barkley to be a Giant for a long time, which is music to Giants' ears. So that is definitely a plus, seeing that Mara wants to keep Barkley around. So they really have their work cut out for them next year.
Yeah, they definitely do. Next year is going to be the year to see if Daniel Jones is the guy. They got to lock up Barkley, that's for damn sure. Andrew Thomas, a lot of positives for him towards the end of the season. Obviously we talked late Monday, or late Sunday night for me because I was traveling, but that game, man. Even the Eagles came out and said we didn't agree with this decision. That's going to go down as a very memorable season for the Giants just because of how it ended, how close they were to making the playoffs, and how they didn't make the playoffs, honestly, at the hands of arguably their biggest divisional rival in the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think that the Giants are going to come out with a vengeance next year, their first year with Joe Judge. A lot of positives, a ton of positives. And Joe Judge, he seems like a great head coach in the making, man. I love everything that this guy says, the way he handles himself, the way he handles his organization. The guys seem to love him. They seem to love to play for him. The Giants are a team on the up and up, and they have a few holes as well. And they have some cap space, I think, too, I was seeing the other day, I think.
Yes,
right?
They're probably going to need to cut some guys. Those guys include Zeitler, Solder, and one more, the Golden Tate, that they can cut and really save some cap room there for the Giants. But we'll see what they do. But the biggest thing here is Jason Garrett is off interviewing for the Chargers. Knowing the Chargers organization, they hire him. So we are fingers crossed that they hire Jason Garrett, because the Giants need a new OC badly. And I don't like the fact that they want Garrett there just because they don't want Jones to learn a third new offense in his third year. But when the truth is, he thrived under Shermer. He thrived. So he can thrive under another offense as well. And with Barkley back, he would be even better. But I don't like Garrett there at all. A lot of Giants fans want him gone. I agree with them. So hopefully he lands this job in L.A. and the Giants can move on and let Judge hire his guy. Or a great offensive coordinator just became available in Doug Marrone, of the head coach of the Jaguars, who got undrafted rookie James Robinson an enormous amount of value. And to see what Marrone can do with Barkley would be fantastic after seeing what he just did with an undrafted rookie in James Robinson.
Yeah, being able to bring in a guy like a Doug Marrone, who, again, seems like a Joe Judge type of guy, a player's coach. And, by the way, is a local guy. He's from the Bronx, too. So it might be cool for him to be able to go home and coach for his childhood team as an offensive coordinator. So, again, another team on the up and up. There's a lot of positives for the Giants. I'm very excited to see what they do for 2021. And I agree. I hope Garrett gets a boot, somehow gets that Charger job. It seems like every Giant fan hated him.
So they got their work cut out, and they know what it is. It's playmaker, edge rusher, cornerback. That's it. That's what they need to do to really be a contender and get Jones to develop in an offense that he can handle. So the Giants are out of the playoffs mostly because of themselves, but 1% of that is because the Eagles game on Sunday night in prime time, Doug Peterson decides, hey, we don't need this one really that much. It doesn't matter. We don't need to see what Jalen Hurts can do in a 3-point game in the fourth quarter. Nate Sudfeld, the guy that's been on the Eagles and has never played because he stinks, deserves some snaps. This isn't high school. This isn't where your backup quarterback since freshman year gets to play in the fourth quarter of the last game. It's the NFL. I mean, your players are out there to win. Your job is to compete. It's a sport, and it was pretty bad what Doug Peterson did. His players didn't like it. They were saying players on the sideline were held back from going after Peterson. And it's just clearly he just threw this game. He can say he didn't. He can say he tried to win with Nate Sudfeld. He tried to win. Seeing how hard that Eagles defense played for Peterson just to throw in a backup quarterback that has 2 turnovers in his first 2 drives of the fourth quarter, only for the Eagles to hold them to 3 points on those. I mean, Jalen Hurts stays in that game. People say, oh, he was 7 for 20. He wasn't even having a good game. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, and he was the only thing keeping that Eagles offense in the game. And the Washington defense is very good against the pass. So it's hard for quarterbacks to go in there and have a over 60% completion rate and so on and so forth. But Jalen Hurts was the only thing on the Eagles offense keeping them in that game. He wanted to cite playing Zach Ertz and playing Jason Kelce and Devin Graham. Travis Kelce's on the Chiefs. Jason Kelce's the lineman.
Oh, sorry. Mistake. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, so
you're right.
He cited playing those guys was him not trying to tank when they also had Goddard out, Richard Rodgers out, Fletcher Cox out, Alshon Jeffrey out, Miles Sanders out. So what about those guys? You're not going to cite those guys not playing as you not trying to tank? So a lot of bad things around Peterson. If I was a free agent, the Eagles are at the bottom of my list. I'm not looking to go to play for a coach like that. If I'm drafted, I'm hoping it's not the Eagles. They only moved up 3 spots in the draft from 9 to 6, so congrats, I guess, on moving up 3 places. You can bet that the number 6 pick is going to be a bust because the Eagles haven't drafted well in years. So it was hard to watch, more as a Giant fan, but as a football fan too. This is not that was not an easy game to watch. And people say that the Eagles don't owe the Giants anything. No, they don't owe the Giants anything. They also don't owe the Washington football team a win to get into the playoffs. They don't owe them that either. But they owe it to, sport, and they owe it to the respect and integrity of the game to go out there and play and try to win. The Jets easily could have rolled over and died, and no one was going to expect them to beat the Browns or the Rams in those 2 of the last 3 weeks. The Gates could have easily rolled over and died and just secured Trevor Lawrence's pick, but they didn't. As bad as the Jets are, they didn't try to lose 13 games in a row. They didn't. They absolutely didn't. They came out, won 2 in a row, and they played for the integrity of the game. So there's no real team in here that I could say, oh my God, they totally tanked. Even the Giants in Washington last year played in a toilet bowl game for Chase Young as the second pick. That game went into overtime and the Giants won. Here you are thinking, well, they should have threw the game, blah, blah, blah. You don't throw games. It's the NFL. Your players want to win. Coaches want to win. It's the sport. It's the nature. You don't just throw everything out the window and tank. Especially, this game wasn't even for Trevor Lawrence. Who knows who they're going to get at 6? I don't even think they know who they're going to get at 6. They're going to trade Carson Wentz. He wants out of Philly. But will they get a quarterback at 6? Are they just going to... I have no idea who they get at with the 6th pick of the draft. But to throw the game, to move up just 3 spots is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say much because this is your area of heartbreak and not mine. But, I mean, the one thing I do want to say is the fact that poor Nate Sudfeld, man, obviously it wasn't his fault, but Doug Peterson deflecting the blame on Nate Sudfeld saying he deserved to get snaps. Dude, that's the excuse you have? Like, that's what you say as an NFL coach? Like you said, this isn't high school football where the quarterback has been on the team since freshman year and can't walk forwards and just want to get him 1 snap before he graduates. I mean, this is the NFL. These guys don't care about the fans because these players aren't going to be there in 10, 15 years. The fans are going to be there their whole lives. So they're invested on tanking. But these guys, it's their livelihood. It's their career. It's their stats. They want to play to win. And as far as having integrity from a head coaching standpoint, especially a Super Bowl winning head coach, he should be better than this. And quite honestly, this is going to tarnish his career. This is going to overshadow bringing that first Super Bowl championship to Philly, in my opinion. I think this is a terrible, terrible look.
It is. I think it's going to hurt him in free agency, and we'll see how hard players come out and compete for him next year, because why should they go out and compete their tail off for someone who's not doing the same? Now, we get to the good stuff here. NFL playoffs start this weekend. On Saturday, we have the first game of the day, Colts and Bills, followed by the Saints and Bears, and then on Saturday night, it's Bucks and Washington. So, Dev, we finished our regular season head-to-head. You came out 3 points ahead of me, but we're headed to the postseason now. So do you want to take the regular season win and start fresh, or do you want to carry over your 3-point lead into the postseason and see if I can come back?
No, I want to... what do I want to do? I want to go 2-0 again. So I'll take the regular season dub.
All right, so we are starting fresh here then. Now, the rules for this one are you give me your best bet and that's your 2-point bet. That's your best bet of the week. It can be an over/under, or it can be a points, favorite, so on and so forth. And you're going to give me a lock. Your lock doesn't need to cover. It only needs to win. That's all it needs to do. So, for this weekend and Saturday, the Rams and Seahawks are playing this Saturday, not the Bears and Saints. They play on Sunday. So that is how we're going to do this moving forward. But before we get into the picks, we need to talk about the Browns Stefanski situation. There's COVID running rampant in Cleveland. Stefanski will not be coaching on Sunday. The facilities are still closed on Thursday, and the Cleveland needs to play their arch rival Steelers on Sunday night. This is going to be an extremely tough game for Cleveland to win.
And we knew that going into it already.
Right.
They're going
even
into
more obstacles to
Pittsburgh,
face now.
A healthy team. Yes, exactly. So not having your head coach is going to hurt. Of all weeks to come down with COVID, it's your team's first playoff game in 20 years, I think, right?
A long time
for the Browns. It's gonna be tough, but I mean this Brown team, as they showed us all year, they could stick around with anybody, and quite honestly, they got one of the better draws this week. To be honest with you, against a Steeler team that has obviously stumbled down the stretch after starting the year, 13-0, I think, right, or 12-0. Stumbled down the stretch and beat them last week, but they had a lot of starters sitting. So, it's still going to be a close game. If I had to pick, I would really take the Browns plus 5.5, but that is not going to be one of my picks.
Let's discuss these games very briefly, and then we'll get into what our picks are. So first game, okay. Indy, Buffalo. Everyone's expecting Buffalo to win here in a high-scoring affair. The Colts win, I think it'd be a huge upset. Agreed? Rams, Seattle.
Agreed. Definitely agreed.
The Rams defense is going to need to play their hearts out if they want to win, especially with a banged-up Jared Goff, who can be a turnover machine at any time. Rams defense really need to come out and play. And the over-under is 42. I'd stay away from it because, I mean, you could get a sneaky over with a defensive touchdown here or there, but I would stay away from that over-under. And I need to check the status of Goff before I bet any game line in that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's definitely a toss-up. And I agree. I mean, the Seahawks obviously have a great offense. The Rams have a great defense. A lot of question marks on the offensive side of the ball for the Rams. So it's going to be a great game either way, though.
And now, take me through Saturday night. The 11-5 Bucks go to Washington, the 7-9 football team.
Yeah, exactly. The 7-9 division-winning football team hosting a playoff game against the 11-5 Bucks. This is going to be a very close game, I think. Brady had a great year this year. Bucks are starting to get healthy. The football team, some question marks at the quarterback position, even though they have a great pass defense, like you said. So, going to be a great game. And Brady's first playoff game in the NFC.
Yep. And it's not against the Giants, which I think a lot of people would have loved to see.
Yeah.
Now you go on to the Sunday game, Baltimore, Tennessee. Another game I think is going to be high scoring. Can Lamar Jackson overcome his playoff woe from last year against Tennessee, or will Tennessee come out victorious? Tennessee, the home underdog at plus 3.5. I like a lot of value there in that. Getting that extra half point. If Baltimore wins, it's not going to be by a lot, I'll tell you that. And also, back to the last game really quick, I do like the home underdog in Washington to cover, by the way, just because that's how you get after Brady, is with a 4-man rush. But I like Tennessee plus the points in this game.
I agree. This is my favorite game of the week right here. I think this could be an awesome game. Ravens are playing very good football right now. The Titans have a great offense. really crappy defense. This is going to be a very quick game as both teams really love to
Henry,
run the
2,000
ball.
this year.
Yeah.
Henry, 1 of 8 to reach 2,000 rushing yards.
Oh,
yep.
Of course, that too. You can't forget about that. This could be a great game. Rematch of the divisional round last year. Ravens are going to be looking for vengeance. And now the next game,
probably the least entertaining game. Saints host the 8-8 Bears, who snuck into the playoffs. I think Saints rout him here. I don't think Trubisky shows up. I think the Saints defense is very good, and I think the Saints have their way with their run game, and Drew Brees is going to come out and perform. I don't think Drew Brees is going to let his career end like this. He's going to go out on a respectable note. I don't think he's going to, NFC Championship win would be unbelievable for him at this age, but I think he's going to go out with some respect. He's not going to roll over and throw 3 picks to leave the playoffs.
No, I definitely agree. The Bears are a stereotypical 7 seed, especially as that 8-8 team. Obviously, with the old format, they would have been the last team out, but they are in this year. I agree. Saints are going to have Kamara back, a few other guys, obviously, with COVID. So I think this could be a rout for the Saints, too. I love the Saints minus 9.5. I actually like that over also. But good for Trubisky, too. I do want to say real quick the fact that he's played very good football since
he does get a bad rap there. I think Nick Foles really put a damper on his what could have been early on in his career. I think the guy definitely deserved a shot to just keep getting better and better. He's not awful. I'm hesitant to say above average, but he's definitely an average quarterback. He's a starter in this league. He's not a backup. He's a starter in this league. He's not a starter that's going to take a team to the Super Bowl, but he's a starter in this league. And Nick Foles, I think, was hurting his development there in Chicago before he went down and got hurt. But
look, he might take his team to a Super Bowl.
You never know. But this Bears
did it in 06.
Yeah,
you always have weird guys
David
like
Montgomery is running the hell out of that football there too. So
he is.
We'll see. Now, the last game, Cleveland-Pitt, we talked about it. Browns got that COVID dilemma, but I think Pittsburgh is going to wake up here and maybe they need to get a run going in them. They need to find some spark and get going. So with those games said, Dev, what's your best bet? Your best bet of these weekend games?
So my best bet, which I'll translate it into the bet I'm most comfortable with by far this week, is that over in the Colts-Bills game. I don't know. I'm very surprised it's that low of a number. Why it's 51. So pretty much each team has to score 25 points to simplify it, which is very easy to do. This Bills offense is fantastic. The Colts can put up points. The Colts have not scored less than 27 points since that Week 7 loss at home against the Ravens. Definitely something to look at there. The Bills' offense has been firing on all cylinders. That Allen and Diggs connection is something else. I love that over there for sure. So that is my most comfortable pick. That's what I'm going to be looking at this weekend.
I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. My lock this week, my best bet this week, I really think it's going to be the Saints minus 9.5. I think that they're going to run. They're going to run all over the Bears. I don't think the Bears are going to put up that many points. Even if the Saints don't put up 24 points, they can still win 21-10 and cover. So I like the Saints here. I think they're going to score roughly between 24 and 28 points to the Bears. I guess max. The max I see the Bears putting up in this is 17. And 24-17 would have me at a loss, but I think it's going to be... I think that the Saints can cover this no problem. So I'm going to take the Saints minus 9.5.
I like that. I like that a lot. I really do.
All right. Now your lock. What team is not losing this week?
What team is not losing this week? The New Orleans Saints are
1 point
not
lock.
losing this week.
Saints.
1 point lock. Saints, lock it down.
I agree.
For me.
Saints aren't losing this week, but I'm not going to double up here. I'm going to say Pittsburgh is not losing to the Browns on Sunday. Browns got no preparation in this at all. Nothing really on the field. Their facilities have been closed all week. Pittsburgh's have not. Pittsburgh lost to them on Sunday. They're going to be playing with Big Ben. They beat a team by the Browns beat them by 2 points in a must-win game against the backup quarterback and the Steelers. Yeah, I like Pittsburgh to come out hot. Their defense play extremely well, and Ben Roethlisberger, a playoff quarterback that he is gonna get it done. So I definitely think Pitt wins on Sunday. So that is my team that's definitely not gonna lose this week. Other getting consideration would be Buffalo. I think we Pitt, New Orleans, and Buffalo are 3 money lines that I really cannot see losing this week. But from NFL to the college football playoff, Dabo Swinney's number 11 Ohio State Buckeyes absolutely rolled over him in the Rose Bowl. Not the Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl.
Not the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl.
Yes, completely rolled over them. Trey Sermon ran for 1 million yards. Justin Fields threw bombs down the field. Absolutely crushed. Outplayed Trevor Lawrence, should I say, but absolutely destroyed Clemson. There wasn't even a game. They just came out. They were the better team, and now they're playing Alabama, and they're getting 7 points in that game, which I do like. But we'll see. Who ends up taking home that title. And Alabama, as we all expected, rolled over Notre Dame like no problem. But none at all.
No,
so an interesting
Yep.
finals matchup. What do you think of it?
I love it, especially as a Buckeye fan. You gotta love it. This team I loved. Unfortunately, like I said, I was away, so I couldn't place any bets. But I would have hammered the Buckeyes plus 7.5. That was an easy line. I think they were being way too disrespected. This offense had the potential. They were coming out with a vengeance against Clemson, who they've lost to twice in a row when they've met up in the college football playoff. And, they didn't just roll over them, Lou. They manhandled them. Clemson did not show up at all. Absolutely not. The Buckeyes were firing in all cylinders on defense, getting to Lawrence with the turnovers. And then, obviously, you had Justin Fields throwing for over 300 yards and looking like a top 5 pick. There's no doubt about it. What it did to his draft stock, it went through the roof. He went 22 of 28 for 385 yards. This dude threw
they were
for
big
6
touchdowns. They were deep touchdowns, too.
Had 1 pick. They were deep touchdowns. He looked. He had.
I thought he had issues throwing the ball downfield, man, but he fixed them. And for late in that game, he still missed a couple throws, but he fixed them for the most part.
Yeah, you're right. Like you said, Lou. He was throwing 40-yard bombs down the field, right to the numbers. He was unbelievable. He looked absolutely great. I don't want the Jets to draft him because I still have some question marks about him. And going up against Alabama and SEC defense, this will be a telltale sign of who Justin Fields is on the biggest stage. If that game even happens on Monday, we don't know yet, really, for sure. There have been rumblings about possibly postponing the game to even later. But I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a very good game. I eventually think Alabama, unfortunately, takes it. But the Buckeyes are going to be right there. I love that line, too. They're giving them 7 again.
They are.
Giving them 7 again.
Yep.
It's going to be a good game.
Will be. That is on this Monday? This coming Monday? Yeah. This coming Monday.
The 11th. Yeah.
We'll see who the national champion is. Will it be the Buckeyes? Will it be Alabama? I don't know, but I think it's a good game, and I think the 7 points, it'll be decided by less than 7. So I will definitely take Ohio State plus 7 in that game. Now we got a couple cool stories before we end here. The World Junior Classic. USA shuts out Canada. Shuts them out in the gold medal game. Wins 2-0. I mean, you had people thinking Canada was going to win this 8-1, 9-1, even 8-0. They gave the USA no chance. And the USA came out 1-2 to nothing. I mean, remarkable. What a job by the U.S. to go out and get this done.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't say anything more about how the U.S. performed in the WJCs. I mean, you could just look, even starting with Spencer Knight, the first-round pick for the Florida Panthers a few years ago. He did not have a good first few games. A lot of people were questioning him. And, I mean, the dude absolutely stood on his head. When push came to shove in the medal rounds, I mean, he was absolutely fantastic. Shut out the Canadians, obviously, in the gold medal game to win the game 2-0. And the star for the USA, I mean, it has to be Trevor Zegras, the kid from Westchester, Bedford guy, born and raised, local kid for us especially. He was the number 11 pick for the Ducks back in 2019. He played out of his mind all tournament, had the most points in the WJC in USA history, I believe. I believe he edged out the record by 1. He was absolutely fantastic. He scored the game-winning goal on that wraparound. I believe it was early in the second. But either which way, the fact that they not only beat the Canadians but shut them out was absolutely great. This is huge for USA hockey. I feel like a lot more people were into the WJCs this year just because the NHL isn't going on. But I mean, Lou, I know you're not a big hockey guy, but I'm telling you, man, every year, do me a favor, all you guys listening, watch the WJCs every year. It is an awesome spectacle. These kids play amazing hockey. The intensity is there. It's so much fun to watch. A lot on the line. These guys are playing for their country as well. And the fact that it was USA Canada for gold doesn't happen all too often. It's happened a few times over the past 10, 15 years, of course. But anytime it's USA Canada for the gold, you got to turn in, man. And it definitely did not disappoint. And this Canadian team, absolutely
11
loaded.
First-round picks, I believe?
Yeah, exactly. 11 first-round picks. They were missing one. They were missing Kirby Datch, the first-rounder from the Blackhawks last year. I believe he broke his arm in the preliminary rounds, I think. And the first-round pick for the Devils, actually, the number 20th overall pick, Dawson Mercer, he picked up his spot in the first line, and he was great. He did everything a centerman is supposed to do on the top line. Really filled in that void for Datch, which was really good to see from a Devil fan perspective. But, I mean, the Canadians are always going to be there every year. Like you said, 11 first-round picks. The U.S., I believe they had 6 first-round picks on their roster. But good for them. I mean, it was a great game, very fun. The score, I'm surprised it wasn't a lot more high scoring because both teams had great scoring chances. But the U.S., they got gold after not medaling a few years ago.
Definitely is.
It's great to see.
Huge congrats to the USA for pulling in the gold medal. Huge for them. Now, for our final topic here, from the ice to the court, the best team in New York, the New York Knicks, sitting at 5-3. I mean, what a start by these Knicks. What a start. I mean, Tom Thibodeau has this team playing defense, playing hard. Mitch blocking shots all over the place. You have Julius Randle almost putting up triple-doubles every game. Elfrid Payton, when Elfrid Payton has a good game, the Knicks have a great chance of winning. There was one game where he went almost 0 for something from the floor, and the Knicks lost by I think 183 to the Raptors or something along those lines. But when that guy plays well, the Knicks have a great chance of winning. And R.J. Barrett not turning the ball over, playing a role on that offense and doing a good job, not being the reason, the Knicks lose game. Doesn't feel like he has to shoot every time the ball's in his hands. He's improving his shooting. His shooting could still get better. I mean, you can always get better at some areas of the game. But Tibbs is going with a short bench, though. That is what he's doing. Kevin Knox is playing better basketball this year. He's got Quickly and Austin Rivers, Knox off the bench. I mean, they've been playing out of their mind. Quickly is a fantastic shooter, pretty good defender, can give a spark to that offense. And Austin Rivers, in last night's game against the Jazz, scoring the last 14 points for the Knicks, hitting, 3 threes in those minutes. And they were just water. It was just right in, as soon as it left his hand. Creating space. If they can use him as a closer at the end of games, he plays like that, then the Knicks are in some good shape. Are they ready to win a finals? Absolutely not. Are they ready to get to the playoffs? I think so. I think this team is a piece away from really being able to contend in the NBA Finals. Obi Toppin's been hurt, and I think they're talking about signing Taj Gibson now, which really is a non-story to me. But they have... You're excited. It's good to be excited by this Knicks team.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. 8 games into the season, 5-3. How about Austin Rivers, man? The guy is absolutely balling. A great signing for the Knicks. You could just tell, even though the Garden isn't open and the fans aren't in and no one's in Midtown really, you could just feel the energy. Like you said, Lou, exactly, greatly put. The city needed this. The city, when the Knicks are good, is that much better, man. Knicks fans have been waiting for this for a long time. A competitive team, granted, it's only 8 games in. There's a long season ahead of us. But good for Knicks fans. They really needed this. This is great for the city, great for the Knicks, and they need to build upon this because the Knicks have one of the best fan bases in all sports. Honestly, that might be a big statement here, but one of the best fan bases in all sports when they are competitive, and they have not been competitive really in probably 8 or 9 years. I think off the top of my head that one year they went to the semis with Melo and they played the Heat in the semis in 2012 was the last time they were really competitive. You could even go back into the early 90s when they were playing in the finals and the game where Reggie Miller went off when they played the Pacers in the conference finals. It's been a long time. And
Tibbs needs a lot of credit here, man. Tibbs deserves a ton of credit.
Yeah. Deserves a lot of credit. And he's been there before. That's the thing with the Bulls, and he's coached guys like Derrick Rose at his prime when he was really a top 3 player in the league. He's been there. He's coached guys like Joakim Noah when they were at the top of their game. He knows what it takes to win. He knows what it takes to win in a major city, in a major basketball market.
Yep. One of my favorite quotes from yesterday's post-game conference, Austin Rivers said, "I've been a part of some bad teams before, and this is not one of them." So finally, the Knicks are trending in the right direction. How long can they keep this up? I hope for a very long time this season because for the Knicks to give us something before the Yankees spring training games roll around would be absolutely fantastic. So,
great. That'd be great.
100%.
Couldn't agree with you more.
That's going to do it for us this week. We will talk to you guys next week and enjoy some playoff football. Enjoy the Knicks. And more importantly, just stay safe out there, everyone. And take care.